All right, so welcome everyone to our Promoting Positive Practices on Building Positive Relationships. Today, we will be discussing community supports. And if you would in the chat, you can answer the first question, what you're most interested in learning about, or what resources do you know of that are available in your area, if you know of any that are available to your families. Okay. So like I said, my name is Shy Tony. I'm a coach here at the Early Learning Coalition, and I also have on our training today with me, Miss Kwanda Willard. She's also a coach here at the Early Learning Coalition, and she'll be keeping an eye on the chat, so feel free to engage if you are able to. Okay. And today we're just going to be going over, like I said, community supports and discussing what supports are available to the families, either on your side of town or on another side of town in the Alachua County area. And thank you guys so much for being able to join us today. I know it's probably a small group, but it's all right. We're here. So up first, we're just going to go through some housekeeping. So we know that you probably might have to have your microphone muted and you might not be able to engage with us or unmute, and that's totally okay. But just know that if you have the red line through your microphone, that means that you are muted and we cannot hear you. And then if you do not have the red line through your microphone, that means you are unmuted and we are able to hear you. And if you want to mute or unmute yourself, you can do that by just selecting the microphone, clicking on that microphone. And also we understand if your video is off. So if your video is off, it'll have that red line through it, just letting you know that we cannot see you. And if you go ahead and you click that camera button, the red line will go away, and that means that we can see you. And we love if we could see your beautiful face this Tuesday afternoon, but if not, that's totally okay too. And feel free to also engage in the chat if you're unable to mute yourself. We know it's probably nap time and your kiddos are sleeping and you don't want to talk too loud and disturb them. You might got that one kid sleeping that it probably never sleeps, and today's he's sleeping and you don't want to disturb him. Completely understand. If you could though, just engage with us in the chat. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? All right. Okay. So on our agenda today, first we're going to discuss the importance of community supports and identify available supports for you and the families that you serve. Then we'll share resources that you feel your families may benefit from. And then we'll also explore tips for sharing these resources, so how you may go about getting that information out to your families. And then lastly, we'll wrap up by developing plans for informing families about the resources available to them. All right. So first, I would like to launch a poll just to see, just to see what if you know any resources, if you're aware of any resources in your area. So I'm launching that poll now. If you could take a moment just to answer. All right. So I see that Ms. Sharon and Ms. Hannah have answered saying that you know you know there are resources available, you just aren't sure how to access them. Well, today we are going to discuss all of that. We're going to discuss why they're important, how to access them, and who offers what. All righty. Thank you guys for participating in that poll. All righty. So moving forward, so now we're going to identify some resources that are available to you. But before we get into that, we do want you to know that community supports relate to the context of everyday instruction and tie directly with the early learning teaching practices. And the early learning teaching practices are just a set of practices adopted from evidence-based research that shows when done the way intended, it does promote those positive outcomes for children. And those teaching practices are just what the teachers say and do in the classroom. And the teaching practices we are going to discuss are indicated by these arrows here. So regularly communicating with other members of the instructional team or teachers, assistants, and staff, also families, special services, and others, if applicable, to learn children's interests and to inform instruction. And right up under there at C, it talks about how teachers collaborate with either their team or families to plan lessons, establish objectives, and address children's individual needs. And these needs can vary. Okay, so here we have the pyramid model. I'm going to launch another poll just to see how familiar you guys are with pyramid model. If you could just answer this poll for me. Thank you. I'll give you guys a moment to answer that. Okay, we have one person who has responded. It looks like Miss Nevada has joined us. Welcome, Miss Nevada. Glad you could join us today. All right. Now we've got two. Okay. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So it seems like everyone here is pretty familiar with the teaching practices that support the pyramid model. So today, stop sharing that. So the pyramid model builds upon a tiered public health approach to providing universal supports to all children to promote wellness, targeted services to those who need more support, and also intensive services to those who may need a little more extensive support. Family support lands in the universal promotion tier to help nurture and support families to ensure the healthy promotion of social development. And it's right down there at the bottom. And so this is why building relationships with families are so helpful, and it's very important for young children, because once you build those relationships with the families, you can then in turn discuss some needs that they may actually need, such as like resources in the community that they may need. Once you build that relationship, it'll make it easier for you and the families to kind of discuss some needs that they may have. Okay. And so this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the protective factors. And Maslow hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology comprising of a 5-tier model of human needs. And so from the bottom of the hierarchy upwards, the needs include physiological, which is like food and clothing, safety, which is that job security, love and belonging needs, self-esteem, and self-actualization. And so these are very important because Maslow argued that survival needs, which are the lower level of the pyramid, must be satisfied before the individual can satisfy the higher needs. So the higher up the hierarchy, the more difficult it is to satisfy the needs associated with the stage because of the interpersonal and environmental barriers that inevitably could frustrate us, making it hard for us to move up the tier. So for example, if a family is finding it hard to obtain food or secure a job, they may find it hard to feel safe and be able to build relationships with others due to constantly being in survival mode. And in turn, this like affects their attachment and social connections with others. So all in all, to say the needs lower down in the hierarchy must be satisfied before individuals can attend to higher needs. Does anyone have any input or anything they like to say about that? I'm also keeping an eye on the chat as well. Okay. So moving on. So now we're going to explore a few different organizations that offer support to various communities throughout Alachua County. And one of those is Partnership for Strong Families Resource Centers, and they with strengthening families and communities. And Partnership for Strong Families provides child welfare services designed to protect local children from abuse, neglect, and abandonment, and assist in establishing safe and permanent homes with their own families, partner families, or even adoptive families. And so some of the services offered, you can visit them if you need to do some faxing, if you need a notary, computer and internet access. They also have a clothing closet as well as food distribution. They do children, teen, and family activities. They offer help with homework, help with resumes, and application assistance as well. Job board and employability trainings. They offer financial literacy, which I think is like super great, as well as family activities and community events. They have enrichment programs for children and also social services referrals. And so here, I've also included the address as well as the email address, not the email address, the link to the website. So I'll make sure that I send this in the follow-up email. So all of the resources we discussed today, I'll be sure to send in the follow-up email today as well. And some of their services will vary by location, but they do offer walk-ins or appointments as well, and you don't need a referral or anything like that, no ID or anything was required. And they also have a monthly calendar that you, once visiting their website, you can click on that and it tells you like all the different events that they have happening as well. And so Partnership for Strong Families has resource centers across Alachua County, and these resource centers offer a wide range of services and supports, and they're designed to strengthen families and the communities in which they live. So Partnership for Strong Family branches out into various resource centers across Gainesville, and each of the Partnership for Strong Families resource centers are strategically located within like the undeserved communities and providing a safe and non-stigmatizing place for families to seek assistance. Has anyone heard of Partnership for Strong Families, or you have any questions about it? You feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat. All right, and moving forward. Oop, went a little too far. So there's also SWAG, which is the Southwest Advocacy Group. And it's a nonprofit organization that serves 8 neighborhoods in the southwest side of Gainesville. It does have 3 locations that offer various services and resources. So there's the Family Resource Center, that's kind of like Partnership for Strong Families. They help with homework for elementary, middle, and high school students. They offer free bread and pastry distribution. They do this weekly. They also have monthly community dinners. They have weekly free clothing closet, as well as a daily computer and internet access as well. And I also received information last week that they do help with financial literacy. And then there's the Child Center for Early Learning. It's in a preschool. And so they have high quality early care and education. And they direct programs on topics like parenting, safety, nutrition, and informal education through support groups. So family bonding activities and they allow for like volunteering as well. And then also over there on the Southwest, connected with SWAG is the health clinic, and they offer medical services as well as dental services to the community. Like I said, I have all of the contact information there, and I'm going to make sure that everyone gets that information, that you're able to have that information. I see there's, okay, Ms. Hannah says she has heard of Partnership for Strong Families. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Ms. Hannah. All righty. And then moving forward, there's also the Cone Park Library Resource Center, and it's located within the Cone Park Library, and it's designed to serve the needs of East Gainesville, and it's a branch of Partnership for Strong Families. And so they offer some of the same services as Partnership for Strong Families, such as free faxing, notary, library access as well. They do have an emergency food pantry and food distributions, a professional clothing closet, activities for children, teen and families, computer access, academic assistance for K through 12 students, enrichment programs as well. They also have social services referrals, health and wellness programs. There's that financial literacy, as well as access to a job board and employability trainings. They offer food stamp, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment application assistance. So they help families with filling out all of those applications, as well as helping them set up a resume and filling out the application. And so I've included their hours and their information as well.
All right, Hannah had a question. Are these services income-based?
These services are not income-based. These services are offered to everyone. They're just placed in communities where there's a need for these services. That was a good question. Thank you, Ms. Hannah. Okay. So moving forward, and so here are a few examples of the services offered by the organizations. The programs depicted from left to right are, you can see a mother and child, and this is at the playroom at SWAG. And then there's the clothing closet at the library partnership, and then the food pantry at SWAG as well. And like I said, it's available as emergency food. And well, it's available as emergency food at Library Partnership in Cone Park. And this last picture is of a parent and child like enjoying an event or activity together. Okay. And each of these locations are bus accessible for patrons and can be easily walkable for the communities they serve and are near schools and housing complexes. So they try to make it very easy for families to be able to gain access to these resources. So since we only have a few on with us today, we won't go into breakout rooms, but we can unmute or type in the chat. I just want to know, are any of these resources new to you? Have you heard of any before? Which resources do you feel would be beneficial to your families? And feel free to unmute yourself and share. Do you have any questions about the resources or any concerns about being able to access the resources?
All
All right.
right, we have, oh, you see it?
Oh, sorry. Nope. Thank you, though. I appreciate you being on it. Food help for families. Are there more resources? So yeah, yes, Ms. Sharon says she's used some of these resources. So as far as food help for families, I I know of these ones thus far. These are the main ones that I know of. I can see if there are more out there, and let you know, Miss Nevada. I appreciate you asking about that, but these are the ones that I'm aware of at the moment that do these. Um, so Partnership for Strong Families, Cone Park, as well as Swag are the ones that I'm aware of that has the food pantries. And like I said, I will definitely send all of these in a follow-up email so that you can have the contact information for these on hand.
Nevada says thank you.
Okay. Miss Sharon, which ones have you used or have you been able to share with families? And she's probably typing it in the chat. Okay. All right, well, while we wait for a few more responses in the chat or either out loud, we can move forward. So we won't do breakout rooms. So now we're gonna discuss some ways for sharing these resources, some strategies for sharing these resources with families. Is there a particular way right now? Medical services and financial services. Yes, yes, those seem to be like a really big need. Thanks, Ms. Sharon, for putting that in the chat. We noticed that there is a need definitely for medical services with families. Thank you for sharing. How do you guys share now? Currently, how do you get this information and let your families know about these resources that are available to them? What strategies do you currently use? Newsletters, yes, newsletters are a great way to get those resources out. And I like that too, because then you're not like particularly targeting one family or anything, but you're giving it to everyone, sharing it with everyone. Face to face, yes, face to face is always great. And you can give them like live information. That's wonderful. Thank you guys. I appreciate your feedback. All right, so 5 ways that you can share information with your families. So like Ms. Zavada said, you can share with a school or classroom newsletter, and this can like tell families about food drives or a pantry and or family events that are taking place that month or that week. You can also text or give a phone call to a family, especially if you know you have a good relationship with a family and that they are in need of clothes or food or any type of benefit. You can call them and let them know what benefits they can access. And just that helps make it more personal. I know that's something that family childcare homes do, since they do have like a more of a personal relationship with their families. Also, there's the school and the school website or Facebook page, if your school has a Facebook page, that you can update families and, use, because I know social media is a big thing right now, and a lot of families are on social media. And so that'll be a great way to connect with families and just letting them know what's out there to help them. Also, weekly emails or a hard copy sent home, kind of like those newsletter, and you can put that in the child's belongings each day or each week, each Friday, to kind of let them know what's happening or what's coming up. Something else you could do is collect flyers from the local churches or community events and hand them out to the families or post them on the parent board at your center to kind of let them know what's happening in their area, to keep them up to date. And I also know that some families have tablets where they share information with the parents about the child's day. And I feel like that would also be a good way to share information with families about resources available to them, or upcoming events in the community. So that's something to also keep in mind as well. So knowing this, how do you think you guys would share your resources with your families? Do you think you would continue to use those newsletters? Would you try a different strategy of sharing, or you feel like what's working for you right now is pretty much what you're going to stick with because it's working pretty good? What do you think? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat like you guys have been doing a fabulous job doing. I appreciate all the engagement. Okay.
Well, I can say for myself, I'm driving right now, but I
That's all
just
right.
want to do participate.
Okay,
Um,
I appreciate that, Miss Sharon. Be careful though.
yeah, I know, I know. I usually, as far as parents, I do share flyers at the church, giving them information where all the information that you have gave out the clothing closets, the food
Hmm.
pantry, all of that. I do share that also at the church with the parents that I come in contact with.
Okay, great. And how does that work out? Are they very receptive? Do they
It's It's working real good because I also give it out and also have a information board that I put stuff on so that it to remind them where certain services is.
okay,
Mhm.
wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And
Yeah.
in the chat, Miss Hannah says she's gonna keep doing what's working for her. All righty. Okay, well, I think it's fabulous that you guys are making the families aware of what's out there to support them and meet their needs. So fabulous job, everyone. Okay. So for our resources today, I have a link here that shares a bit more information about the pyramid model, and you can find it at their website. I'm going to make sure that you all get the link to this website, and then I'm also going to share with you guys the Partnership for Strong Families website as well, so that you can access information there, and also you'll be able to access their monthly calendars in addition. Okay. And so we were just going to get into how we are going to share that information with families, but you guys already let me know that. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And so to wrap up today, we were able to identify why needs are important, as well as share the community resources that are available and also how to access them. We were able to explore strategies for sharing the resources with families, and then discuss next steps and a goal to share information with families. So again, my name is Shy Tony. I'm a coach here at the Early Learning Coalition. I also had on with me today Miss Quanda Willard, Mrs. Quanda Willard. And we really thank you guys for joining our presentation today on community supports. And as you all know, the ELC is also here to support the community. So definitely reach out if there's anything that we can do for you guys. We also have lots of flyers up front with help with applications for eligibility for children getting into preschools. So
Mhm.
definitely reach out to us if there's anything that we can help you with. We definitely would love to. I'm going to drop in the chat the evaluation link so you can fill that out. And that's how you'll get your certificate for attending today. And remember to check your spam folder to make sure it's not in there if it doesn't pop up in your regular inbox. And thank you guys so much for participating and for joining us today. I know we had a small group and we ended fairly quickly, but we thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today. All righty, and
Mhm.
give me a moment. I'm gonna stop recording.